Hey, Nation, Harry here, back with Dan Schwab. We have not had a chat in a long time. And Dan, not only good to see you, but I brought a little something special out from about 10 years ago, and we did a bunch of things together. How you doing?
I love that. It's great to be on today and great to speak with you.
Yeah, good to reconnect. And feels like I was talking to you the last time we had a recession. We got to do better than that.
The
Let's talk in the boom times.
good news is
Hey,
that we're both still around and we're both still kicking. So there's some silver linings.
there we go. Well, hey, it's the earnings season, and you just came out with the fiscal year earnings. So, first of all, what is your fiscal year date? Is it May 1st, or what's your story?
Yes, it
Okay.
goes May 1st through April 30th. Correct.
Okay. So yeah, you're reporting some blowout growth in earnings. Just to quote here, 19% growth, surpasses 5 billion in revenue. Congratulations. And that's especially meaningful with some of the consolidation going on in the industry in the S&B Disty space that clearly puts you in number 3 position. What do they call that in horse racing? A show position?
Right. Right. We're on the leaderboard.
Yeah, exactly. Couple of points that stood out aside from the earnings, and I'll write that up a little bit more in the blog and some of the percentages. But
Sure.
let's talk about the education community because, boy, you talk about disruption with remote learners, including Jenny Hallmark over in the radio control room. Her daughter has been homebound learning for quite some time. What's going on with your commitment to the education community? And it looks like you have an executive panel or a community engagement group. What's the story?
Well, basically, when you think about it, with what transpired in this last year during COVID, there was two parts that drove our growth. There was the work from home and the learn from home.
Okay.
So work from home is obvious. You and I and others, we needed to upgrade notebooks. If you only had one monitor at home and you're used to working with three, you had to get those new monitors. So a rush on the headsets, the video cams, the mice and keyboard, all those products. The same is true, obviously, with the schools. I've got children in school as well, and they had to pivot overnight. Luckily, many businesses were well prepared, and they had employees could work from home every so often. They had a mobile workforce. Schools really were challenged because it was a major inflection for them. So they needed a lot of consultative advice from ourselves through our vendor partners. So we've done a tremendous amount of training. Education's been our strongest vertical for a long time. So when the pandemic kicked in and schools were shut down, our resellers really and MSP spun into motion, and there was a tremendous demand for devices. And whether it be wireless needs, whether it be the Chromebook needs, whether it be the video cams for the teachers that were still teaching from school or from home. So there was incredible demand. So we've really had a group that we've leaned on for a long time that are educational specialists, and we've taken that a step further. That we not just have an advisory committee, but we now have a community that we're really trying to share best practices and help
Okay.
our partners to grow in that space.
All right, and then the new distribution center. Now, the last time we got together, you were in Harrisburg, but I think it was the old building. So A, you moved,
Yep.
and B, is this in the new office park, or is this what's going on?
So you're right. About 2 years ago or so, we moved to a new headquarters. It's wonderful. It's a 50-acre beautiful campus. It gives us room to grow. We were really busting at the seams. We had
Oh,
been
you
in our
were, you were.
our old headquarters. We were there for over 65 years.
Yeah.
So this was a great 20, 30, 40-year decision for us. Our current warehouse is based in Harrisburg as well. We have 4 warehouses across the U.S., 2 in Canada. And, logistics, that's a core competency of ours. In this case, it was 208,000 square feet, and it was the same thing. It was really reaching capacity. So we broke ground. We're almost done. We hope to move in September, October time period to a new 750,000 square foot facility, which is
Jeez.
state of the art. It's almost 2.5 times the size. So we're really excited about that opportunity because it gives us the opportunity to continue to scale and grow. And as you mentioned earlier, with the dynamics, both, I'd say the IT industry is in a really good spot because it's become even more ingrained in all of our lives, both personal and professional, the need for technology. So I don't see that diminishing. And then with the macro changes, as you alluded to, with other distributors and mergers and acquisitions, I think it bodes well for D&H to be able to stay laser focused on our customer service and our partners.
Yeah. Hey, final thought, and let me set the table. So with the sad demise of my small business server some years ago, can you believe 2012 was the end? It's almost 10 years.
All right, you got your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, I did. So what I've done is, and what I encourage the SMB Nation membership to do is I've been working pretty hard to reinvent myself. I dusted off the old sheepskins and put them up on the wall, and I'm trying to reinvent myself as an industry analyst. And part of that is to be on these earnings calls and get, back in the loop. So I have a question for you. One of my clients out of Austin, Texas is in the data center area, and they are not seeing, in your press release, you talk about imminent infrastructure refresh. And of course, that's going to come someday, but in the data center space, and I'm talking cruise ships and amusement parks, names we all know really well at the enterprise level, we're not seeing the push for an infrastructure refresh right now because A, they have no revenue, and B, all the money went to laptops. So what are you seeing that I'm just not getting from the enterprise level? You have a pretty bold statement and you increased your credit line significantly to support the refresh. Go.
So, right. So last year we increased credit lines by 225 million per month, and we're adding an additional 300 million per month of downstream credit. The refresh we're speaking to, when you think about it, all small and mid-sized businesses across North America, you're right, they spent their money on endpoint devices, very straightforward, right, with the work from home transition. As they migrate back to the office, they now have a hybrid model. So it changes the paradigm for them, that those employees that went home, that took their 3 monitors home with them, well, now they're going to work from home 2 or 3 days a week. That means you have to refresh the 3 monitors in the office they use. Well, how about if those were desktops at the office, and now they're all going to be bringing their notebooks and walking around the building for different meetings and huddle rooms because they're going to use different collaboration spaces. That's going to drive a revision of the wireless network. And what does the back office look like? The servers. You now have a workforce that's disparate, that's all over the country potentially. So it just changes everything. You're going to be investing in UC and collaboration because you may have
definitely.
a meeting with 20 people instead of all 20 being in the office, 10 in the office and 10 are remote. So you have to have the right setup. So we're seeing this surge in demand for small and mid-sized businesses, the reevaluating their infrastructure to support this new business model.
Yeah, that makes sense. And again, of all people who would be playing at the enterprise level, I'm probably the least qualified person, but I did just want to share some industry insights, and I get it. Down at SMB, it's not as heavy a lift, right? And B, you can probably even do it a little bit incrementally. This quarter you get a monitor, next quarter you get a second monitor, and so on. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's make this a regular call quarterly when you release your earnings, and we'll see you on the flip side. Enjoy the summer. Congratulations.
It's wonderful. Love speaking with you. I'm happy to connect anytime.
All
Be
right.
well, and thanks for everyone from the nation. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Be well.